Hey everyone out there in vinyl community land, this is Mark with Vinyl Crush, and today we're doing a contest with Propfe. I think I did one with him a while back ago. It was the pick a year, show some albums, and that was a lot of fun. But this is an actual contest because he's reached 650 subscribers, heading very quickly, I'm sure, to 1,000. I love Chris's channel. Not only am I subscribed to it, but I ring the little bell so I get notifications from him because his collection is really quite good and he knows quite a bit about it. He's very interesting and I just enjoy his channel tremendously. So I highly recommend that you check him out. I'll put a link below. Please go take a look at his channel and subscribe. You'll be happy that you did. So his contest is called Nifty 650. There are 5 questions. So the first question is show the first and the last of the albums in your collection based on how you have them ordered. So, you know, I have my collection kind of all over the place. I have it all done alphabetically, but my jazz is in another room. My classical is behind something. I have a bunch of albums hiding downstairs. So actually I have everything on Discogs. So I just went on Discogs and chose the first and the last one of all of my albums, and that's what I'm going to show today. So the first one, and this one unseated the first one that I had before, which was the 13th Floor Elevators, because I just bought this album, and here we are having this contest. I showed this in a previous video. This is 10cc, the original soundtrack. So 10cc, 10 as opposed to the 13 of the 13th Floor Elevators. This is now winning the first album in my collection alphabetically. I did do a video about this album. It has a song, I'm Not in Love. I told a long story about that song. I recommend checking it out. It's quite a beautiful story. I'm Not in Love is, I think, one of my favorite pop songs in the world. I think it's a perfect pop song. I really enjoy listening to it. And this album is definitely pop, but it's also art pop, experimental pop. They do a lot of interesting stuff on here, and I really like it a lot. This is an original pressing. I believe actually it's the first pressing. I'll show you the gatefold. Here I have the insert with all of the lyrics and stuff. This is Mercury record label. Show you that, and here's the back. Give you the cover one more time. It's quite a beautiful album. So this is the first album in my collection, alphabetically speaking. The last one, and that one came out in 1975, I believe. The last album in my collection turns out to be ZZ Top, double Z. That's kind of hard to beat. So this is Tres Hombres. This album came out in 1973, and I bought it practically the day that it came out. It was, I'll show you, I'm gonna take this out. I think the inside of the album cover tells you what's also on the album. It's just incredibly beautiful layout of delicious Mexican food, and you're going to want to have some beer with that and a couple of margaritas, and it's just delicious, and so is the record. This album has Beer Drinkers and Hellraisers, Waiting for the Bus. One of my favorite, I like classic rock blues, and one of my favorite classic rock blues songs is Jesus Just Left Chicago. Quite an incredible song. If you're not familiar with ZZ Top, please check out Jesus Just Left Chicago. It's an incredible blues song. This is the first pressing or original pressing on London. It's a beautiful sounding album, very well produced. Really like the southern rock in here. And that would be the last album in my collection alphabetically according to Discogs. I think the next question that he asked was to show an album where the cover is mostly blue. So I'm going to do that, but I'm going to ask Chris for some extra credit on this one for the contest because this is Joni Mitchell. The album is almost all blue, and the name of the album is Blue. And the name of one of the best songs on the album is Blue. So I have triple blue here. Chris, please take that into consideration. This is a beautiful album. I really like Joni Mitchell. This album I came upon by happenstance. I wasn't actually looking for it. I bought a small collection from someone, And this happened to be there. Reprise labels, original pressing, quite beautiful. And it is quite a beautiful album. This came out in 1971. The next question, and this is a great question, is Led Zeppelin or Deep Purple? So I had never asked myself that question before. I love that Chris is asking that, and I know he's not asking which is the best. It's what's your preference? What kind of music do you listen to? So Deep Purple and Led Zeppelin, I remember listening to both of them quite a bit, and I couldn't help but compare Ritchie Blackmore and Jimmy Page, the two guitar players. They're actually, they could almost be brothers. Their styles are different, but they're both incredibly talented and fun to watch playing. Ian Gillan, the lead singer from Deep Purple, also he was the lead singer he played Jesus and Jesus Christ Superstar on the soundtrack album, and I listened to that until I wore that album out. Amazing voice, what a great singer. Songs like Child in Time, beautiful song, one of my favorite songs. But my choice of this is going to be Led Zeppelin. I have way more Zeppelin in my collection than I do Deep Purple. And the reason that I like Zeppelin, I think I am more of a blues classic rock guy than I am a heavy metal classic rock guy. And also Led Zeppelin incorporates a lot of world music to their music. They also do a lot of ballads, a lot of acoustic stuff. They play around all over the board. Their music is really unique. It's very much a style of music that they do, but every album, although is clearly a Led Zeppelin album, you can hear it when you listen to it. Every album is a little different. Led Zeppelin 4, this also album is quite a bit different than Led Zeppelin 5, Houses of the Holy. They're just a different sounding album, different feel. Led Zeppelin 3, a whole different album than all the other albums. They're beautiful. I also love all the blues stuff that they do, the classic rock blues. You Shook Me, great song. The harmonica solo on that is one of my favorite harmonica solos. It's syncopated, it's rhythmic, it's bluesy, it's gutsy, it's really unique. I've never heard a harp solo like that on any other album. Hats off to Robert Plant on that one. Since I've Been Loving You, great blues song. The music is just so unique and yet so Led Zeppelin. So that's my choice. Led Zeppelin is my choice over Deep Purple, although I love Deep Purple as well. Let's see. I think the next question is to show us your speakers. So I'm going to take a walk over here and spin around and show you our speakers. So show us your speakers is a request. Mine are the Monitor Audio Silver 8s. I'll take off the grill and give you a peek, naked. So that's what speakers I have. Love the speakers. I'm not a huge technophile when it comes to stereo equipment, but I do like the way they sound and I'm pretty happy with them. So there's two more questions. One was, what are two albums on your want list? One of the albums on my want list is the soundtrack to the movie CQ, the letters CQ. It was a film written and directed by Roman Coppola, the son of Francis Ford Coppola and the brother of Sofia Coppola. It's a homage to sci-fi spoof films in the 60s like Barbarella. The movie was made in 2001, or came out in 2001. And it's a very quirky, fun film, not Hollywood at all. I really enjoyed the film. And the soundtrack was produced by a band called Mello, a couple of guys out of France. The film was made and filmed in France, I believe, about France in the 60s. And the music is just beautiful psych. It's just really pleasurable, very sort of campy 60s kind of psych. But I loved it and would love to get a hold of that soundtrack. The other album on my want list is an album called Arise Therefore. It's not attributed to any artist, but it's Bonnie Prince Billy, aka Will Oldham, aka the Palace Brothers. I have a repress of that album, but I'm looking for the first pressing. It came out in about 1996. Back then I bought it on CD. It's an incredibly darkly beautiful album. Will Oldham's, I think it's his best album. I have probably, I don't know, 7, 8 of his albums, and it's the only one that I don't have on that's not a first pressing. But he had this produced with Steve Albini. It was just Will and his piano and his guitar and singing, and he had attributed to a percussionist named Maya Tone. Maya Tone is actually the name of a drum machine, so it was a drum machine that he attributed it to. But anyway, it's such an incredibly beautiful album, and I would love to get a hold of the first pressing of that. So that's on my want list. And I think the last question was, show an album that not too, a famous artist, and an album that many people may not know about. So, or is not as popular, not as well known, I think is what he said. So I chose the Steve Miller Band. Steve Miller's had a ton of hits. He was really big in the 80s. And this album, however, came out in 1969. I bought it when it came out. It's really more blues rock and psych rock, very different than the stuff he was doing in the 80s. And it's called, I think I said it's called Brave New World. I have a first pressing, I'll show you, on Capitol, the black Capitol rainbow labels. And this album was produced by Glyn Johns, who also produced the Rolling Stones. Most of it was recorded in LA, but Steve Miller did go to London and go to the Olympic Studios, and there he recorded one of the songs that's on here called My Dark Hour. And it was just Steve Miller and the famous Paul Ramone on bass and drums and backing vocals. And Paul Ramone, aka Paul McCartney. So Paul McCartney was there. He's attributed in the album as Paul Ramone. But Paul McCartney was there at the studios with the Beatles, and they had a big fight, and the rest of the guys left, and Paul stayed back. Miller was there. They got together and recorded a song. It's a fun song. It's great to hear how incredibly musical Paul is. He's a pretty good drummer. Back in 1968, when he was pretty much a bass or guitar player. And the album is wonderful. It's mostly blues and rock and psych. It's got some fun songs, and highly recommend checking it out. So I think I'll leave it at that. Chris, thanks for the contest. And if you have any questions at all or any comments, please leave them below. And please check out Chris's channel. Also, I did a video with Mazzy Maslov, Norman Maslov, that I'll put a link below. We did a joint venture video on some of our favorite guitar players, and it's a fun video. Please check it out. As well, I spent last weekend shopping with Mazzy and Kimbo up in Seattle. We took a trip up there, and Mazzy created a video for that. So I'll put a link to that one below as well. Please check that out. And my next video will be all the records I bought up in Seattle. I look forward to showing you that. And my wife also joined me on that trip. And so Elise will be joining us in that next video because she bought some records as well. So she's going to show records with me, and I'm excited to do that. So we can look forward to that. Until then, I'll see you later. Thank you.